Bar Banter Podcast. I'm your host, Ben, and with me, as always, my wonderful co-host, Matt. Say hi, Matt.
Hey, how are you doing today?
You know, it's been a week.
Yeah.
It's been a week.
You still kind of screwed up the co-host. You kind of tripped on that. What do you want to call me there? Like, you want to call me something else?
See,
what are you trying to say?
I'll figure it out one of these days.
Just say hi.
It's just, can you just please say hi? Because I'm struggling here.
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I'm supporting local brewery today. I got Alloy Brewing Company. It's Eric's Red Runner. It's a red ale.
Do you know Eric?
I don't know Eric, but his beer's pretty good. So hang on. Let's see if I can get the...
Really?
Oh, no pop. Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
It's not a Snapple. It's not good. Send it back. What is it supposed to be like?
Oh, that's good.
An ale? Or...
Yeah, it's a red ale. It's like an Irish red ale.
Ooh, Irish.
Ooh.
Well, I'm boring. I got Lonely Blonde in the glass because I got off of work and I started early, so I'm not going to crack one open with you. I'm sorry. But I will get to the McGolden Light and crack that.
Oh, you're going to be drinking the water today, huh?
Yes. Yes, you got to hydrate.
Look at that. Look at that. That's a nice color right there.
That's a sexy looking glass, too, guys. Yeah. He has like that. It has a nice little skinny bottom, and it comes to the top and widens.
Allow me to...
Yeah, let's hear this thing. What do you got?
I'm not going to be gulping like you could hear Beam a couple weeks ago. Just go.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was ending the Facebook Live because some people, I don't want them to hear me curse. They don't want to. I started thinking about that. I'm like, that's probably not a good idea. But
so what have you been up to this week, man?
Oh, so a whole lot of working, but I have I've gone viral again. What are you doing?
Oh no. My camera messed up.
No, I can see you. You're fine.
Just keep going, man.
Yeah. Okay. So I went viral again.
You went viral. Okay, let's hear about your virality.
Yeah. So I created another TikTok that has gone viral. I am currently just over 24 hours from when I made it, and I am sitting at 560,000 views.
Nice.
I know, it's coming short up of like 80,000 likes and tons of comments. It's literally me like acting like I open up the dryer and I put my phone in the dryer, and you open it up and I fucked up, and then the thing says when you dry your wife's bra. And that's and then just slowly put it all away and then walk away towards the camera and went, I fucked up. Like I'm just whispering to myself, and it's blown up so much so that I got my first duet. A girl duetted it, and she wrote on the caption, "I've been laughing at this for hours." I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, just that's just something. And then of course work is work, and we're all still making it through coronavirus and people going back to work and stuff. So that's just what it is. So how's the homeschooling?
It's one step at a time. Today, we had an interesting thing today where today was supposed to be a field trip to the Minnesota Zoo. Obviously, that did. Yeah. We went up to the gate and said, "There it is, kids," and then drove away.
Yeah. You made them watch Tiger King?
Yeah. They're like, I don't know if we're going to learn anything from this. But no, so the school set something up for them to have a fun day. Well, a fun day was go to the Minnesota Zoo website and then do a report on one of the animals. I'm like, I don't know about you, but that's not fun to me.
Yeah, exactly.
But she went through and she found like she was like, I'm just going to do it on like a what did she pick before? It was like a horse. And we're like, okay, that's fine. But I'm like, why don't you take like a couple more minutes and just try to find something maybe a little bit more unique? And then I'll give it to her, man. She found I think it's called like a dhole.
The hell is that?
Like an Australian fox or whatever.
Is that pretty... at the Minnesota Zoo?
Yeah, apparently. But this thing's pretty badass. It's like she did her report on it and then she showed it to me and I'm like, damn. See, now that's an animal that's worth doing a report on.
Yeah,
It's
tell me
like
about it.
it's
What's it like?
I mean, it's like a I think it was like an Australian fox, like an Australian. It's reddish. Or keep in mind, I'm recapping a 7-year-old's
Yeah,
poster,
that's
but
what I want to hear. That's why I want to hear it.
it's got a strong jaw.
Oh,
It
ooh.
it kills its prey by biting its nose and then having the pack
What?
take the rest of it. Yeah, when I heard
So
that, I
like
was
it
like,
can't.
damn, that thing's
So like it can't
brutal.
smell you coming.
No, it attacks the nose. Like it
I know
literally
that's what I said. So then now it
right.
can't smell the rest of. Oh, it literally just clamps
like
onto
it
the
like
face.
gnaws on their face, and then the rest of the pack, and then it hunts in packs. So then the rest of the pack comes and just goes at it. I'm like, man, you picked a pretty badass animal there.
That is pretty cool. A
So
Dhole,
yeah,
Dole,
I
like
think it's like
the
Dohl. I mean,
Dhole,
I could look it up.
Dhole,
I'm not
Dhole.
really sure. I mean,
I just think of fruit
let's
cups.
yeah, Dole fox.
Dole fox. Man, you are
Is
one
that
Dole
right?
fox. Sure.
D. So it's a D hole, Dhole. So yes, it's a
That fox is a D hole.
yeah, it's like a combination of a gray wolf and a red fox. See, I was pretty close. I was pretty
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. D hole.
D hole. So, yeah, so that I mean that so we're doing that right now.
Okay.
Counting by tens, which is more stressful than it needs to be. But
Yeah, one of my managers on my team was telling me about how they're homeschooling and the math is dumb and she just teaches the old school way.
yeah,
Apparently there's this brand new system to like division and multiplication.
there's a joke on Incredibles 2 where Mr. Incredible is trying to teach his kid math. He's like, "Why did they change math or whatever?" And I swear to God, I always thought I'm like, "Oh, that's a funny joke." No, it's real. Like I don't get why they changed math. Like I was
Yeah.
thinking of like I'm like trying to teach like Emma or how to do math like the way that I was taught, and then I'm like, wait, are they not doing it that way anymore? Like, am I wrong or are they wrong?
We are ancient. We
I
are
know.
very ancient. As long as you get to the same result, who cares?
And you can show your work. Yeah, that's what I say. You can show your work, and
Yeah.
and it comes out to the same answer.
Right.
Right.
Who gives a
So,
shit how you got
right.
there?
So that's been teaching. It's fun. I learn something new every day. So,
So we had a fun little topic that I had so much fun putting together today.
we did. And before we get to our main topic,
Oh, okay.
there was something that I wanted to address, and I put it
Sorry,
on.
I forgot this was your show or something.
Yeah, right.
Then
I did. I posted on Instagram a couple maybe like a week ago
Ooh.
that that I had purchased a movie that if people have listened since day one, so going back to the first
right.
episode, I
Yeah.
talked about a movie that was part of my like most anticipated 2020 movies. It's called Guns Akimbo.
Right.
Now, I had you and Beam tell me what Guns Akimbo was going to be about, and I knew you were wrong then. I'm here to tell you were very wrong now.
So
it is
to recap, just to do a quick recap, if I can remember correctly, we thought Guns Akimbo was set in Africa.
Yep.
Drug smugglers.
Yep.
Smuggling drugs inside lions.
Yep.
And Akimbo was the main hero.
Yep.
Right?
I think it was a she.
And the guns were like a smoke screen because it was more like a Kill Bill Sin City-esque movie is what we predicted.
Yep. No, not at all. Not at all. No. So it's about Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, was and remember that name. It might come back a little bit later. So he plays this like nerdy coder for like a game developer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets himself caught up in a like real life like death match type thing where these guys are like having people kill each other online, and it's like this huge thing,
like a video game.
Yeah, but it's like real people. So it's like like streaming but watching like real life death matches, two people for reals going to each other and killing each other.
Really?
So he's like trolling people he's trolling people on this website that's showing this stuff, and pisses off the guy who's running it. So the guy comes to his house. He's like, "Oh, you're a big man behind the computer." Well, knocks the guy out, and then when he wakes up, he's got 2 pistols bolted to his hands.
Like bolted.
like bolts right through. Like bolted right through his hands. This is maybe not the most appropriate thing to be talking about. Right?
Yeah.
But
keep going. I know, right?
They send him out to kill somebody, and he has to in like 24 hours or they're gonna kill him. Whatever. Chaos ensues. Bye. Chaos ensues. It's over the top action, and everybody say hi.
Yeah, for everybody that's on the podcast, sorry you can't see this. Go to YouTube, but my daughter has now slid her way into the video all by herself.
All by herself.
Lillian. Yes. Yeah. Too cute. And everybody on TikTok. Back to that. So bye, Lillian.
Bye.
Okay, so back at it. Sorry.
So yeah, so he gets guns bolted to his hands. He's got to kill somebody within 24 hours, or he's gonna die, and chaos ensues. And it's one of the most like just balls to the wall movies I've ever seen. I love it. It's insane, and you guys could not have been more wrong. Yeah. Sorry, there wasn't even one lion in there to be like even just give you that little tiny thing.
If there was one lion inside that episode or that movie, then I would have been right.
I would have been okay with that. I would have been like, you guys.
I said we were pretty accurate.
Yeah. So, but sorry, not even one.
Right on.
So, yes, you've drawn attention to it. I guess there's no way of moving past.
Talking MCU.
Yeah. I had to get you. We had to do it once. So I'm gonna. We've done this before. People who have listened before, and I'm sure it's like 4 of you, but that's okay. So episode 1, we did a Bar Banter Casts, the Batman movie, where Mr. Oberfell right here decided he was going to go ahead and cast the movie better than had already been casted.
Yeah, and it was way better.
It was good.
Yeah, it was damn straight. So then I hope I can live up to my Batman casts as I did the MCU, because I care about the MCU, and I care about Batman, but not as much as the MCU.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So then episode 3, I believe, 3 or 4, we fan casted the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
And that went
episode 3, Bar Banter Assemble.
Yes, episode 3, Bar Banter Assemble. Go check those episodes out. Yes, I'll put a little linkity-doo in the description somewhere. I think it's over there.
So, and with the Fantastic Four, I went off the cuff and kind of chose some interesting choices. So you can go back and listen to that. I also teased that in a TikTok too, and on Facebook, and my own, I think my own personal Facebook too. So whereas of course you went mainstream with Krasinski and Blunt, and then
that's our great casting.
Our great Ryan Beam just said, "Fuck it, John Cena."
I'm disappointed because I was kind of hoping I wanted to find out who we thought John Cena would be here, but
yeah.
So that's all in the past. We're moving past that today. Brand new episode of Bar Banter Casts, and this time we're doing the
Bar Banter Podcast Cast. Sorry, were you doing a thing there? So
I was going to, but it's okay.
Sorry, I got.
We're doing the X-Men. We're gonna see what we're gonna cast some popular X-Men characters for the MCU's version, and then I think you and I are gonna kind of go off and just kind of get some ideas of how we think they're gonna enter the MCU, and then maybe like a quick little synopsis of what we think a potential movie could be. So
yes, well, I'm I talk about a movie, but I also talk about how I think they're all going to be introduced, and like what's going to kind of happen, and how each character will also be kind of brought in, and like the feel of that, not each character, but the feel of that character and what they plan on doing. But I got to crack this open.
crack it open. We're gonna get started here. So I had kind of a little list of like some main people that I think obviously need to. These are the people that you can't really have an X-Men movie without having these characters. So
Right.
I'm just gonna go down the list real quick. Cyclops, Wolverine, Professor X, Magneto, Jean Grey, Storm. I went Beast. I know a lot of people maybe wouldn't do that, but I
I don't
think
see why
Beast.
not.
Yep.
I think
And then
Beast is a great character.
and then I let you and Beam, although Beam's not here, I let you guys kind of off the cuff and see if there was a couple other X-Men characters that you personally would like. For me, it was Jubilee.
Yeah. And I'm not telling who mine is, but I have my favorite character of all time, and it wasn't on the list because he's not really, he's been in the movies, but I absolutely love his character, but I won't tell you just yet.
Just yet. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Intriguing.
So what are we doing first? What are we doing? How are we doing this?
So I figure let's do just some quick people who we want to cast, and then we'll move into kind of how we think they're going to be introduced and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it your way.
Ooh. Is there a certain okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to go down, so I'm just going to go down the list of the cast that I wrote out on the doc that I sent out to you guys. So
I hope
number one up.
Order.
What's that?
I hope I kept them in order.
Yeah, we'll see. So we're going to start off with the guy who got, in my opinion, the most shaft in the original X-Men trilogy, and that's Cyclops.
Yes.
Who I thought was really well casted in the original X-Men trilogy. James Marsden, I think he did a really good job. He just didn't have enough to do, and they always kind of pushed him away because they were like, "Fuck it, Wolverine."
Right.
So
they were really focusing on Wolverine, and like Cyclops is such a cool character, and he already seemed developed in the other X-Men movie. There was nowhere for him to go. He's with Jean Grey. The tension was Wolverine, and that was it. Right. So now with the MCU, I think they can do so much more with him.
Yeah.
And really
establish him
set that up.
Establish him as the leader and fucking keep him as the leader. Man.
If I were to change.
Man, some technical difficulties there. That's okay. We'll fix it later. We'll fix it in post. Anyways, so Cyclops kind of got screwed in the last trilogy. And they kind of tried to bring him in the sequel trilogy, but it didn't really.
It did not.
It didn't really pan out, at least not as well as I thought it would. So
the whole sequel trilogy just didn't pan out anyways either.
Well, I
didn't mind First Class.
Days of Future Past and First Class were pretty good, but Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix were.
Apocalypse could have been so good.
It could have been, and I may have something about that later.
All right, right on.
So we're gonna start with Cyclops. You go ahead and start with Cyclops. So I'm just gonna say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
For my picks, at least, I tried to stay off of kind of A-list. I didn't really want A-list too much. But I wanted to try to keep it to people that I knew, just so that I had an idea of kind of what their body of work looked like. So I don't know how you went with that. Yeah,
that's cute. So, I'm going to do exactly what I did for Batman that killed it. And I think by Fantastic Four that killed it. So Cyclops is Joel Kinnaman from Suicide Squad. The main guy in Suicide Squad.
Yep, Rick Flag.
Yes, Rick Flag.
Also RoboCop in the reboot.
Nailed it. I think he would do a fantastic job. I think he has the military wit. He showed it in Suicide Squad and RoboCop. And I think that his body type and the kind of his age too, I went for 30s.
Yep, me too.
Because pretty much all the MCU people are 30 anyways, besides like Downey and Ruffalo.
Yeah.
So, but that also plays into mine later. So who do you got for Cyclops?
I have, now he hasn't really had any big movie roles lately, but people or not lately, but he hasn't really had very many big movie roles, but people who are kind of into and pop culture will know who he is. It's Richard Madden. He was in Game of Thrones. He was Robb Stark, I think. Robb Stark.
Rob Stark? I don't watch Game of Thrones.
I'm-
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking him up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. So I think he's about the right age for where I wanted him to be. He also was in a show for the BBC called Bodyguard, I believe. So he's done a lot of like
With Whitney
action.
Houston?
Wrong Bodyguard.
Wasn't that Costner?
R.I.P.
That was Costner.
But he's shown to be able to do some of the more action stuff, and I think this would maybe, putting him in an MCU movie might give him a decent push to be something, because I think he's got kind of like the I don't like to focus solely on looks, but I mean he's got like a likability when it comes to like the way he looks.
He's pretty handsome.
Yeah.
I mean,
kind of the same way that
I might.
So he would be my Cyclops.
Okay.
So next is Wolverine.
We're not going to save that guy for last. I mean,
I'll tell you what. I tell you what. We'll move past Wolverine.
Yeah.
We'll save him for last. That's totally fine. So, do you want to?
No matter who you pick in Wolverine, people are going to hate it.
Oh, sure. How about let's do. I love you, Jackman. Anyways, let's go to how about Professor Xavier?
Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci. He was on my list.
Yeah, spell it with your P's. Easy A.
Yeah. I like that choice. He was on my list.
Not only just the fact, I mean, obviously he's bald. Anybody can go freaking bald and shave their head for it. But I was looking for a 50-year-old actor in that range that could still be in the MCU for another maybe 10 years.
Sure.
For what they're trying to do. Because
Can I blow your mind? Stanley Tucci's already been in the MCU. He was in Captain America: The First Avenger. He is the professor that gives.
Oh, motherfucker!
He's the professor that gives Captain America his powers.
Oh my god! I
like the pick though. I really do.
I know, but I don't like it anymore. Cause son of a bitch, I tried not to do that. I tried really hard not to do that.
It's hard. It's very hard.
We're talking all the way back to the first Captain America. Like seriously, like I looked at people's roles. And Tucci in the last like 6-7 films, Captain America wasn't listed. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
And son of a bitch.
Sorry. I really like that pick though.
No, I mean it sucks now.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's totally fine. I'm not perfect.
Yeah. So mine is so this guy is known for mainly doing bad guy roles, but he did a role as a good guy in the oh shit. Whoa. I was thinking of the Gentleman because we just watched that last night. Good movie, by the way. But Kingsman. So the actor's name is Mark Strong, and is
he Eggy's guy?
Yeah, so he's nice. Kind of the guy behind the computer. So he's been the bad guy in Green Lantern. He played Sinestro, so he's got comic book experience. He was the bad guy in Kick-Ass. He was the bad guy in Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. So he knows he's typecast a lot as a villain, but I think he'd do really well as like a smart British telepath.
Sure.
I would really because like I said, I've seen him once as a good guy in the Kingsman movies, and I loved him.
He's hilarious.
So I think he would do really well as the kind of leader. He's in that 50-year-old range.
And it kind of plays into the fact that, I mean, this is almost a pick where no pick besides Sir Patrick Stewart is any good either.
I know.
I truly think they're just going to bring him back just because. Because it's just I see Professor Xavier with him. James McAvoy did a great job as a young one, but it's Patrick Stewart.
It's Patrick Stewart, yeah.
It is Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
So
it's why they chose him to come back for the Logan movie, and it was amazing.
Yes.
Who we got next? We got. Well, I mean, if we're doing Professor X, then we got to do Magneto.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know who this guy is, but I love him in the shows. Mark Evan Jackson.
Mark Evan Jackson.
M-A-R-C. Evan Jackson.
I'm gonna Google him up right now.
Yes, he is.
He's a comedian.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay, I
So,
know who you're talking about. Yep. Okay.
and he's been in the Good Place,
Okay.
and he plays
Okay.
a fantastic like demon in the Good Place for
Okay.
that evil role, and he is witty and hilarious
Sure.
in the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he just has that look. Of course, I mean, I won't lie, I'm basing it kind of off Fassbender because I've said in the past that he got the short stick on
Yeah.
playing
He def-
Magneto. He was fantastic, and but I am a big fan of Mark Evan Jackson and the things that he's done with comedy and kind of that dramedy kind of weird stuff.
Sure.
Um, he I think he would be perfect for that role.
Sure. I went completely opposite.
Female.
No. Yeah. Right. Throw it on its head. No. So I picked another guy who's been in a big nice pour.
You're
uh
welcome.
yeah.
I have a feeling I'm getting ready to Google this guy because he's probably some British actor that you love.
Well, that's later. So no, so this actor, you'd know him if you've watched Harry Potter. He played Draco's dad. His name's Jason Isaacs. So he played Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter, and he also he was recently in the Star Trek Discovery series as a
Okay.
bad guy. He's in the right age range. He knows how to play like really like fucking evil bad. But
Okay.
I also think he's got that because he kind of played that anti-hero type of character in Star Trek Discovery, where he's kind of teetered the line. He was kind of a dick in some parts, but then also was like good in some other type. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't seen Star Trek Discovery, but I've seen clips of it.
Oh my God, you're so
I've
damn
seen
funny.
clips. I've seen clips
I
on
love how you're
YouTube.
analyzing it. So it makes you a
I've seen
specialist at
I've seen
it.
clips. I've analyzed your video, so I
I
think I know a little bit
I've
about
watched
what this guy
many
is.
surgeries online, sir. Trust me, I can do a triple bypass. Just
Right. But no, I think he's got the chops to be like really bad when he needs to be bad. Like because
okay.
Magneto in the comics is supposed to be a bad guy, and it was only
Sure.
up until like maybe the last 10 years where they really kind of started to introduce him as more of an anti-hero than a bad guy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind having that turn to have him be more bad than he is anti-hero or like
Sure.
likable bad guy. And I think he's got it. He's in the age range too, so you'd have a Professor X and a Magneto that are both around the 50,
They
55
have to be.
range.
I
Yeah,
mean, they basically grew up brothers kind
right.
of thing. They're like that bond. So they have to be around the same age.
Yeah. All right,
So
moving on. We got it. Well, I mean, if we have Cyclops, then you got to have Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. So you might have to. I mean, I don't know if you watch HBO shows at all, specifically Westworld.
Evan Rachel Wood.
Nailed it. Dolores on Westworld.
She
I
was on my
think
list too.
she would kill it as Jean Grey, and I just pray that they don't do what they've done to Jean Grey in the past. Is like kind of just give her that love interest torn woman, and then also the just go with that basically the orphan story and trying to figure out who she is, and then she just turns. Just as long as everything's okay, but as long as they don't make the Phoenix Force a cloud from the stratosphere when they're in space and whatever the fuck.
I'll give Dark Phoenix a little bit more credence that's more comic book accurate. Like the Phoenix Force is like this cosmic force from like the outer space. So I mean they did okay by that, but I mean but after that they were just like, hey, remember that X-Men 3 movie where they made Phoenix? Let's just do that again because people seem to love that.
Right. So I think I loved her in Westworld.
Yeah.
Yep. And she does a great job leading that show, really. So
that's a good choice. Yeah, that's a really good choice.
Jean Grey for Ben Lucier.
Jean Grey for me is this. So this is my one A-lister, well A-ish lister. I mean, I had to go Emma Stone.
Yeah.
I
Was it the
mean,
red hair?
yeah. I mean, well, it's that, and then she's just I basically anything she's in, I really like her character in that. I mean, everything from Easy A to her role as Gwen Stacy on the Amazing Spider-Man series to
Zombieland.
Zombieland's good. I was thinking of it is a romantic comedy with her, Steve Carell, and Ryan Gosling, and it's not coming to my head right now. Hang on.
Okay. So I think she might be a little too quirky for the role. I thought about her, but I didn't see. I see her more as a quirky kind of actress.
Yeah,
Um,
and that was my only real hesitation, but I still went with it anyways.
Worked.
Was
I thought
uh,
about it.
Crazy Stupid Love. That's the movie that she was in with Ryan. It's hilarious. I mean, I'll watch anything with Steve Carell in it. The
You didn't just
guy's
watch YouTube clips, right? You actually watched the
yeah,
movie.
I've seen that movie. I've seen that movie. Again, it's got Steve Carell in it. I'm all in. I love that man.
The Big Short.
Yeah.
Love me some Big Short.
All
So
right. Next
got
on
next?
the docket is Storm. And
So
we talked about this one a little bit earlier.
after a brief conversation, and you making me realize something about the Storm character, I completely flipped. And I went with Kiki Lane.
Okay.
So
No idea.
she's an African actress, and it fits that, like we talked about, that Storm, the true storyline of the, like you reminded me, the African kind of goddess,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
how she, I mean, it's in my I'm gonna save it for later because she comes up later in my MCU kind of play, so of how they will use that descent and everything into the movie, which I'm sure you and I probably agree on. So
so
any
I
MCU
have
person probably knows.
I have a British actress.
Of course you do.
Her
Do you
name's
watch anything else besides BBC or something?
No, I mean, listen, their TV, unless it's on HBO, their TV is generally better than ours.
Okay,
Uh,
who do you got?
Her name is Freema Agman, Agyeman. She was on Doctor Who.
Oh, of course she was. I'm
um,
surprised David Tennant hasn't made it. Well, we still got Wolverine to go, so.
yeah, no. I mean, I will say, I'll give you a little tease. My Wolverine is a British actor.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course it is. That's no surprise. She's
Um,
pretty. She's
No,
very pretty.
she's really good, and she's really good as a strong kind of companion on Doctor Who. She does fall into that like, oh, I love him, he's great, but then she kind of grows into her own as the series progresses, and she's really good in it.
Okay.
Um, and it puts her right in kind of the age range of
How old is she?
Black. She's in her early mid 30s, but it would be
Okay.
around the same as Chadwick Boseman, who in the comics, Storm and Black Panther, I believe, get married.
Yep.
I think it'd be a pretty good dynamic between the two. So that's why,
I could see it.
yeah. So I chose her. That was it. That's I mean,
Right on.
so last on the list. Well, no, not last on
Well,
the
yep.
list. I'm
We
sorry.
got to go
There's
back,
two
but
left. Yep.
yep.
I put Beast on the list because
And I
when I
love
was
it.
coming up with this list, I thought of kind of like, they did the 2000s X-Men movies with Storm, Jean Grey, those five, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey.
Well, Beast was in those.
He was in the third one, not in
Yeah.
the newest one. But
Fraser Crane.
dude, I listen. Kelsey Grammer made an amazing Beast.
I enjoyed it.
Anyways, so I was thinking actually more of like the 90s cartoon, which will go into why I picked Jubilee as one of the characters I have earlier.
Sure.
So Beast for you is the second to last, the penultimate character that we have.
Matthew Gray Gubler.
Matthew Gray Gubler. Okay.
Gubler. He is in Criminal Minds. He plays a agent in Criminal Minds.
Okay.
He's very, very. I went nerd.
Okay.
I went hard.
I see it.
Yes.
I can see it. I can see
I
it.
went hard nerd on this one, and um, again, I'm going to explain why I went his route once we start talking about how and what the characters will play. But Matthew Gray Gubler, how would you say that?
I don't know.
Gubler,
I
Gubler.
Goobler, sure.
You Googled him. He fits perfectly into what I'm trying to do for my beast,
Sure.
and why I picked him. You will find out in precisely 5 minutes when we get into that.
Sure. So my
Who's your
cat,
beast?
my beast is a kid named Logan Lerman. Now he was in the Percy Jackson movies, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief or whatever.
Okay.
Which are underrated movies that they were based off of a young adult series, which I found him to be very interesting. He was also in the reason why I picked him. The reason why I thought
yeah,
he
I
could.
need to hear this one because I don't
So
know.
he looks a little bit younger. He's about 28, I think.
He's 28. He looks
He looks like he's 15. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The reason why I picked him is he was in a movie called shit. It was with the tank movie. The tank movie with Brad Pitt.
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl. Yes, he was as a baby. He was in Tank Girl.
I know which one you're talking about.
With Brad Pitt. Yeah. And John Bernthal with the Punisher. Fury. God, why can I remember that? When I saw him in that movie, I'm like, holy shit, Percy Jackson's in a World War II like tank movie. Why?
Yeah.
Like, what is this pretty boy doing in it? And
you're gonna have to really sell this one to me.
Dude,
so
there are scenes in that. So this obviously this isn't to say like, oh, he can play super nerdy, because I actually really do think you throw some glasses on him and he could look super nerdy, and you could see him as like the little nerdy kid that all of a sudden like comes up with the formula that turns him into the giant beast. Because let's be honest,
is that your role? Is that your plan for the beast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean,
Scientist.
he's the smart one. Yeah, he's the smart one, and he's always been the smart one.
Yeah.
Well, I think going the route that first class kind of went, where he starts out in his human form and then turns into more of the beast form, is a decent way to go. Or you could just have him start as the beast form, and they just use him as the voice and as like motion capture. But
sure.
No, man, this kid showed me he could act in that movie. Like when you see like, because like, I mean, listen, I'll put a small spoiler tag on this for Fury, which is like a 3 or 4 year old movie, but like everybody fucking dies in that movie except for him. And when that shit's going down, like he proved to me, I'm like, okay, this kid I should probably keep my eye on this kid. Like Hollywood should probably give this kid some chances. I think being in an MCU movie, he was gonna be my Cyclops pick, but I was going for a little bit.
See that route more.
Yeah, I was going for a more older Cyclops, and I still wanted this kid because I like this kid. I really want to see what this kid can do. So for Beast, he's gonna take the cake for that. So we're gonna
have to do a hard sell on that one. I don't see that kid. But continue.
Moving on. So I mean we have to hit. This is the coup de grace here. Is Wolverine. I can't wait for you to hear my pick. So I'm curious to see yours.
No matter what, you cannot beat Hugh Jackman. So no, everyone's going to be pissed at no matter what they choose. So I personally think they have zero pressure on themselves to get Wolverine right because of that fact.
Yep.
Because no matter what, you could pick freaking Brad Pitt and people will hate it.
I agree.
So with that, I picked Brad Pitt. No, I'm kidding. Joe Keery from Stranger Things.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you went
boom.
Yeah.
So he really stepped it up in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And I think he would be a perfect Wolverine. He's on that. I think he's like 30. I think he's 30 or 31
already.
Yeah. And
he's 28.
He's right on that. 28. Perfect. So when they probably finally introduce Wolverine, he'll be in his 30s. So and I think he would be a perfect Wolverine. He's actually, you know what? I don't even know how tall he is. How tall is he? Look him up, because Wolverine is short.
He is
So,
shorter, yeah, which actually plays
um,
into the character that I picked for, or the character,
did you pick
real
me?
person.
Did you
Yeah,
pick me?
right.
um,
Dude, I'm not gonna look up his height. I don't.
that's
I
fine.
honestly don't.
So, yeah, I chose him because I think I really liked him in Stranger Things, and I honestly haven't seen him in anything else. But I think he has that wit about him that Wolverine has. That I think that he could bring that to the big
Okay.
screen.
Okay.
So, you like
I
that pick? You
yeah.
look like you like that
I
pick.
wasn't. He wasn't even anywhere on my list. I'll say that. I'll say this. I love the kid, and Steve is probably my favorite character on Stranger Things. To be honest with you, but
Thanks for being honest.
that's a hard. You're welcome. Uh, that was gonna be a tough one for me to see him be kind of like the berserker rage Wolverine, but I'm
Sure.
intrigued enough that I would definitely like if I heard tomorrow that he was cast as Wolverine, I don't think I would hate it.
Yeah.
So,
Who's your Wolverine?
all right, so
I'm gonna have to.
uh,
Do I have to Google? Am I
you
gonna
will
be
not
ready on the Google?
you will not have to Google him.
Okay.
I said British actor, but
Oh, please don't say.
what, David Tennant? No, no, no. My Wolverine, and actually thought I was being pretty clever with this, but then I did see it on a couple of
Oh, really?
websites today.
Okay.
Daniel Radcliffe,
Oh.
Harry Potter. Really?
Boo. Yeah.
So
What?
I've
What?
seen him in a couple of things that have made me kind of be like, holy shit, Harry Potter can kick some ass right now.
You watched Guns Akimbo way too soon after doing this pick.
No,
So.
dude, I'll be honest, he was my pick like way before when I started seeing on the internet that people were like Henry Cavill as Wolverine. I was like, dude, Daniel Radcliffe. He's a little bit smaller,
Yeah.
but I've seen him in roles where he has had to be just fucking brutal,
Yeah.
and
He's
and
come through.
I think so. I really do.
Okay.
Dude, think about it this way. He's making all that Harry Potter money. He doesn't need to be in like A-list movies anymore. He can pick and choose. That's why he does a lot of like indie movies nowadays.
Sure. Okay.
He doesn't have to do anything. He's still making a ton of money off of Harry Potter. So,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
it's those
I can
it,
kind of see it. I won't
it's
lie.
those it's those smaller roles that I've seen him in that I'm like, holy shit! Like I think he could pull this off.
I. I. I mean, every photo I look at, he has this beard and shaggy hair. So I mean, I see Wolverine. I guess I just don't know about like because doesn't Wolverine need to be like super jacked?
He can get there. He's
Oh, I'm
actually
sure. Yeah, I'm
there's
sure.
there's some pictures of him out there that have him already kind of shredded a little bit. He just
All
needs to,
right.
I think he would need to gain like about 30 pounds of muscle. So he was short and stocky. But
Okay. Okay.
I honestly think if they went with him as Wolverine, you would not be disappointed.
Yeah, I like mine better.
So we're actually getting really close to our time. So we're gonna have to
Well, we
kind of
started late.
yeah, we're gonna have to kind of push through how I'm actually this is where I'm gonna kind of open the floor up to you. I did kind of
Mm-hmm.
write a pretty decent synopsis of how I saw things going down, but I really
Okay.
want to hear what you have to say about kind of how they're introduced, like who's your main baddie, and kind of see where you go with that. So go for it.
So
The floor, you
first,
have the floor.
honorable mention:
Yes.
Remy Malek as Nightcrawler.
Oh, I love that pick.
By the way,
I love that pick. Rami
Honor,
Malek.
honorable
Yes.
mention.
Yep.
So, how the X-Men will be introduced, and I wrote this out even because I'm like, I just have a vision. So
Hear your
they will
vision.
they will introduce them individually.
Okay.
Each individually, maybe some as like kind of groups or small teams, like already packed together that know each other, friendships or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So just like the Avengers, they will all fight each other, and they will already be like I said, in small packs. So they will be just like how they brought the Avengers together. They all fought each other in Avengers 1, Age of Ultron. They did the same damn thing. Infinity War, they did the same damn thing. So they all fought each other, and they will do that. It'll have like a Civil War kind of feel to it.
Okay.
So the first mutant will arrive in Black Widow.
Okay.
they will tease Wolverine in Black Widow.
Okay.
With super soldier serum, but it won't say like, oh, here's Wolverine. They'll have like a file or something on the wall
With
that'll
his
be
name.
like Weapon X.
Or like James Howlett or something
Yeah, yeah, or like an X or something like that to show Weapon X. But the big tip is that William Stryker, I bet you, will be in Black Widow.
Okay.
So I bet you they're gonna go to some kind of compound, and it'll be either like Stryker on his shirt, or they'll actually literally introduce William Stryker.
Okay.
So, and he's been kind of the guy for the super soldier serum.
Never
that
played
side of
better than on X2, because once they started bringing William Stryker into like the Wolverine movie and like the sequel trilogy, just didn't work. But I love it. I think it's great.
Yes. So, but Juggernaut will be a villain in Black Widow. Not the main villain, obviously Taskmaster is.
Okay.
But they will have like a small scene where they either go to try to get the serum or something, and it'll be Juggernaut.
Okay.
And that'll just show that it's still being used.
Okay.
And that they're still testing.
Sure.
But that's how they're gonna be like, hey, X-Men are coming. That's why they're making this movie, I believe. So also, Beast, why I chose the Goober is the Goober. I believe Beast will be the new Hulk.
Okay.
They lost the pizzazz of Ruffalo hulking out.
Sure.
So they're gonna need that scientist with that beast of a side. So he will beast out in the movies.
Okay.
Kind of go back and forth.
Okay.
And so when they need him to, he will beast out, because they don't have that anymore in the Hulk. They need that.
Sure.
Storm will be in Black Panther 2. Duh.
I would say if they were going to introduce Storm before an X-Men movie, that'd be a perfect place to introduce her. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I think it'd be duh, because and I think might be because of the snap.
Yep.
And that he's been gone for.
I'll tease that in a little bit.
Right. So Magneto is a good guy.
Okay.
I believe. Now here is that's all my setups.
Sure.
So Avengers 5 will be Avengers versus X-Men. It will have a Guardians versus Avengers feel, like in Infinity War, where the Avengers will be after Magneto, while the X-Men are trying to save him from turning bad.
Okay.
So Magneto has been good, and now he's kind of going on this bad path.
Okay.
So the Avengers need to take him on. The X-Men need to save him because he's been with them and a friend. And Magneto is torn. So I think that they're going to end up fighting each other, causing a fight between them. And in the end, Magneto will turn bad. They will have to band together and kind of take on Magneto together. But Magneto will survive. And then the X-Men Avengers will go their separate ways. And then after that, the first X-Men movie will be made.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
So, like, the big bad villain, of course, I wanted to go like Apocalypse and all these guys. I love Apocalypse, and they fucked Apocalypse up.
Yep. They wasted a good actor, too, on him, too. Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. And so I don't think there'll be a big bad yet.
Okay.
But I think that's how they're not going to announce Avengers 5 yet. They'll probably put it as untitled.
Sure.
But they will slowly introduce these X-Men. You'll get to know Magneto as a good guy, and then he will turn, and then it'll set up Avengers 5, Avengers versus X-Men, where the Avengers try and stop him, and the X-Men try and save him, and then they end up battling.
Cool. Interesting. You've talked to me about the Avengers versus X-Men before, and I'm not sure, but I mean, listen, you're selling me on it. You definitely are.
Would you watch that movie?
Well, of course I'd watch that movie. Yeah, I'd watch that movie. I'm gonna go over mine real quick.
Yeah.
Not super quick, but I mean I'll go through mine. But so I mentioned bringing in Jubilee because I think
Did you cast Jubilee?
I did cast Jubilee.
Okay.
By an actress named Peyton Elizabeth Lee. Now she's a younger actor. She's in her teens still. She's already kind of a Disney alumni. She's been on a show called Andy Mack for Disney, and I feel like Disney's pretty good about trying to push their actors
I mean,
forward.
yeah, Disney. Well,
Yep.
that's an interesting pick.
Yep. So we would enter the. So I believe that this is just a straight X-Men movie. So I'm not saying Avengers or anything before their own movie. This is I see that as this being a standalone movie that introduces everybody.
So not slowly. You're just saying all of a sudden they're gonna have an X-Men movie.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you should tease it throughout some of the phase 4 or phase 5 whenever they're going to decide to bring X-Men out. But
Okay.
I think you just bring it all into a full movie. So then we would basically be seeing the movie through her eyes, and then she would kind of play pivotal roles throughout the movie, kind of how they're doing the new Avengers video game,
With
where
Miss Marvel.
yeah. So you would see the kind of the broader strokes. Everybody would have their moments and be awesome and everything, but then it would be through her, and then she would come in through a pivotal moment. Blah blah blah. I'm not a screenwriter. I don't have that moment for you, but I think we enter through the eyes of her, and she's like a new entry to the school. The rest of the cast have kind of established history with the school. Um, in my version, mutants have been around for centuries, but it's only been a very small fraction, like 0.001% of the population has the mutant gene that's already activated, and that's when that they're like urban legends, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then of course now that supers are kind of popping up ever since 2008 or whatever, they've been able
Yeah.
to kind of work a little bit more. But because of the multiple snaps that happen on Earth, I think 3 of them happened on Earth. The initial snap, the snap to bring everybody back, and then the snap that ended
Tony.
everybody. That was shooting a big, humongous wave of energy through the Earth, which activated a bunch of people's dormant X genes. So now mutants are starting to pop up all over the place. In mine, Xavier has been a mutant. He's one of the few that was a mutant pre-snap, and he was just kind of being around, not doing. He's keeping low. Still set up his school and everything. Magneto still keeps his backstory as being a Holocaust survivor, but in mine, he's kind of like he was kind of caught by Hydra or the Nazis or whatever. He was kind of experimented on, kind of like Bucky. So even though he's pushing 50s and like his mid 50s, he should be pushing 100. They probably like put him on ice or did something to him.
Okay.
And then for my main villain, I'd do Mr. Sinister. So
looked at him. Yeah.
Yep. So he's a geneticist that was looking at he's kind of the guy that was always kind of looking at like, oh man, there's somebody with augmented powers here, augmented powers there, and taking those stories and try to become like a perfect being. So that's how he gets his powers. Yes, I have casted Mr. Sinister, and yes, he's already had a huge bad guy role before as Voldemort. Ray Fiennes.
Oh.
Mr. Sinister.
He was almost my Magneto.
Yeah. And then basically my plot of the movie is them all coming together and stopping Sinister from resurrecting Apocalypse, which would set up a future movie.
Interesting. I thought about going the snap way too, but how would you like explain? So all the X-Men were snapped into existence, right? That's what we're saying.
I've got a little minion popping by. Sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't quite figured that part out yet.
I thought about doing like the whole snap thing too, but it doesn't explain to me, like when I was going over it in my head, like the snap obviously awakens this mutant gene is a very popular synopsis or theory that I have seen, but it doesn't explain to me why certain X-Men. This entire time. So in 2000, what would it, in an MCU timeline would have been 2018 would have been the snap, right? Right? Yep. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's where I'm just like, okay, so now it wakes in a lot of mutant genes out of people, but we've already had mutants on the Earth, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. That's what I would say. Is that there was already some there that the snaps just awakened dormant genes in normal people, and all of a sudden these people who thought they were normal were like, all of a sudden they're mutants.
But it's none of the main guys. Like
I see, and I wasn't quite sure. In my head, it sounded like a really good idea, but you're starting to kind of like pick apart the plot holes in my head. So
it's just it's what I thought of. I'm not trying to pick you apart.
Yeah,
it's just, I'm having a conversation. I just thought of that stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was just like,
you could and you couldn't. I think there's a handful that you could say, like maybe for someone like Beast, who was just kind of like this really athletic kid, and then all of a sudden snap happens, or like the third snap happens, and all of a sudden he like just starts beasting out.
Right.
But then somebody like maybe Cyclops, Wolverine for sure, because he's got this, like, he was started in 1800, so Wolverine is one of those people that would be the 0.001%. Stuff like that. So
yeah, and I thought about
I
that
think
because
you have freedom to pick who you want to be that.
Because I thought about that because obviously I said Black Widow will introduce mutants and tease Weapon X, and that obviously was well before the snap. That was Civil War.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I was like, okay, I think mutants have been here the entire damn time.
Okay.
The snap had nothing to do with mutants. I thought about that over and over and over again, and how I see where you're going with the whole gamma radiation, and maybe that makes more mutants, maybe, but I think it just mainly got rid of half the world and they came back. Then that might also help them introduce some of the X-Men too. But I think they've been there the entire time, and then I think it's going to be awesome when they have a trio movie of Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four all coming together to take down Galactus.
Love it. I love it. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Well, we've nerded out for quite a long time. I think we should probably wrap it up. I'm interested. So obviously, I've been throwing out questions every time. Obviously, who do you think should be the X-Men? I mean, it's a pretty fair question to ask.
You can ask just Wolverine.
Yeah, I was gonna say just Wolverine, Cyclops. Yeah. Pick your favorite X-Men. Tell me who you want to play in the MCU, and maybe I'll listen to it and read it next week. So
maybe.
Maybe.
I love that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. I'm asking you're just gonna do this, but maybe I'll read it.
Hey, you're just gonna have to do it and find out.
Oh my god!
Hit us up on all of our socials: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun things. Check us out on YouTube. Obviously, subscribe, like, comment back. I want to hear what you guys have to say. It's important to us. I'm sure it's important to you, right?
It is.
Facebook, all that fun stuff. Hit us up on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, rate and review, all those fun things. And then, as always, I mean, we'll just see you next time, right?
Yes, sir.
Take it easy. And hey, Obi, say goodbye.
Yeah. Hey,
How
bye.
About you say goodbye.
Bye,
say bye.
Bye,
say
little lady.
Bye. See you later, guys. Bye, buddy.
Yeah.